in researching this, like Marcus said, it's kept in the National Archives building, specifically in the rotunda section of the building. And it's kept with the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. And it's just like out in the open for people to see during the day. So during the day, it's probably not the best option to steal it just because there's way too many people and there are guards in the room at all times. And also, like Marcus said, they lower it down into a vault at night. And that's pretty much every night, unless the disaster thing. But I also found another instance where they don't lower it down. And that's when they have sleepovers.
What?
Apparently, the National Archives building has a sleepover program for kids you can sign up for. And yeah, you just bring like a bunch of kids from ages like 9 to 12, and they sleep overnight in the National Archives building. And they sleep specifically in the room with the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, man.
So they don't lower it down.
Okay, step one, you're there. You're in.
Yes, so step one is to recruit a bunch of kids.
And you're saying my answer's bad. And your step one is recruit children.
Yeah, I mean, you would pay them. They would get a cut.
Yeah, but Chris, can you give them a future?
So once you're in, one of the problems is that there are cameras in the room. And for this, I was thinking, I don't know if any of you have seen Mission Impossible 3, but there's a scene in that movie where he climbs the wall of the Vatican, and there's a camera on top, and he takes a picture from the view of the camera, prints it out, and puts it in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So I would basically do that. The problem is they don't allow cameras in the building, so it would just get confiscated.
If you say a kid's got to put a camera up his butt, I'm going to yell at you.
No, that's not my answer.
Chris has to put a camera up his butt.
Chris isn't there. He's not part of the sleepover. They didn't invite him.
Yeah, I'm not popular enough.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
Does cooties count as a pandemic?
So to get around this, my plan would require 2 sleepovers. So the first one would be me taking a picture with my phone, because they'll let your phone in. So the first sleepover would just be like a recon mission sort of thing. And after the first sleepover, I would go home, print them out, and the second sleepover I'd have printouts. And I would cover up all the cameras. That problem solved. The guards, I don't think they have guards standing there all night. I think they just pop in every once in a while. So the guards wouldn't really be an issue. And then the last issue is the display box getting through the glass. Now, I don't really know exactly what type of glass they have, but
It's bulletproof.
It's very bulletproof.
So you can't shoot it.
I'm going to assume that my plan is going to work. I don't know if it actually would.
Otherwise known as the tagline of this podcast.
So I was looking at different ways to cut glass, and there is like a glass cutter, like a device made specifically for cutting glass, but this would probably get confiscated. It's not that big and it's kind of easy to hide, but I wouldn't really want to risk it, and it sort of makes...
Is that the thing that's like a clamp and it's got like 2 circles on it that score the glass until
It's basically like an X-Acto knife, but instead of a blade, it has like a little wheel on the end, and it scores the glass. It doesn't actually cut it, it scores it, and then you can like break it on the score.
Right.
But instead of this, I was thinking of breaking the glass using thermal shock. So if you don't know what thermal shock is, it's basically when you have like ice cubes and you throw them in hot water and they crack. That's what thermal shock is. It's expanding at a different rate, so it cracks. And you can actually control thermal shock. So if you direct heat into like one specific spot, then you can control where the crack is. So to do this, you need 2 things. You need a nichrome wire and you need a battery. So for the battery part, I think you need like 12 to 16 volts and like 3 to 6 amps. And there aren't very many like iPhone portable batteries that reach this high, but there are some.
all you need is one.
Yeah, so you'll find one of these, and they'll let this into the building because they actually specifically said on the website that this room doesn't have outlets, so they'll let you take this in just to charge your phone.
Ah.
So once you have this and the wire, you would line the edge of the glass with the wire, hook up the battery to it, the wire would heat up in a very specific location, and you would crack the glass on the edges.
Cool.
And then you just take out the glass, and I'm going to assume they probably do have alarm systems in like...
Yeah, I'm going to say maybe. At this point, an alarm might go off.
Like a motion detector or something. I'm going to assume they don't because I didn't want to research on that. I got a little uncomfortable researching stuff like that. But once you're in, you just take the Declaration of Independence. And the key part is you don't want them to notice right away. It's okay if they notice eventually, but you want to fool them long enough for you to get away. So you want to replace it with something. So before you do any of this, you're going to go to a gift shop, and like Marcus mentioned, they sell a full-size reproduction of the Declaration of Independence for $10. So you got to bring $10. Cash. Not credit card, cash.
All right, what's my shopping list? I need $10, 35 children. I need a battery. I need
Wire.
a camera and a wire. Well, I guess the camera's a separate trip.
I think that's all you need, right? So, and one more thing, because you need to put the glass back. So once you put the reproduction back, once you replace the Declaration of Independence, you put the glass back and you super glue it. So super glue is the last item.
Ah, yes, the very subtle and not at all noticeable.
Yes, I mean, they'll notice eventually, but they might not notice right away.